Well, hello YouTube. It is a beautiful day here in southern West Virginia, and I am in Delbarton, West Virginia today to bring you guys a really interesting story that kind of been lost to history and should be remembered. And I have enlisted some rather unique help, as a matter of fact, just now. But anyhow, let me back up just a little bit. I need to bring you guys up to speed real fast. As anyone who watches our show knows, we tend to enjoy stories from the past, from a simpler time when people weren't obsessed with cell phones and the internet and 24-hour social media assault of negativity. You had to pull your own weight back then as a family. But it seems like the family unit is more or less broken today. People are estranged from one another. Sometimes it feels like there's just a cloud of darkness that just seems to cross families when the one that held the family together passes away. All of that has an effect on all of us modern people, whether we realize it or not. And Heather and I, we both enjoy doing stories that are from another time, long before any of us were even alive. Today's story is set here in Delbarton, West Virginia in 1937. It doesn't really seem like that long ago, but it was over 80 years. We do have one thing they didn't. We can use modern technology to help keep people's memories and their heritage alive for the rest of time. As long as humans exist, they will have access to all of this information. Here in West Virginia and Kentucky, the cemeteries are always hard to get to, usually, if not always, up on the side of a mountain somewhere. Back when the cemetery was started, the trees weren't the same. There was a clearer path and so on. But now the old cemeteries by the thousands sit lost and forgotten, as well as the people who rest there for eternity. If you're not familiar with Find a Grave, it's an app or a website that you can put a name in or add whatever information you have, and it will search for that person's grave location. It's used by people like us, the you and I of the world. People will go out, take pictures of graves, and upload the pictures into a database along with the cemetery location, or some will use death certificates and put them in the cemetery that they think it refers to, which is where it can get muddy really fast. Heather and I are trying to use our channel to try and put people's stories and the real history of our area back together, one little piece at a time. In situations like this, it's important to verify this information firsthand. The cemetery I'm looking for today only has a rough description of the location and only a few grave photos. Once I find it, assuming I can, we will add anyone we find there to the Find a Grave database, so they can be found and viewed by anyone with a simple search. Not just for future generations, but for those of us alive right now too. We get messages all the time from viewers just like you guys who say we just showed them their great-grandmother's grave, for example. Showed it to them for the very first time, and that they had never seen her final resting place before today. Excuse the wind, guys, I'm sorry. It's outside. You can't really do much about it, but it is pretty. We'll give it just a second. We also, of course, have a goal today. That is to find and photograph the final resting place of Eula, Kirk, Bryant and Matis Lorelei Bryant. Now, they're both listed as being in the Farley Cemetery number 2, but is there even a cemetery there? Or is she with other family members at the regular Farley Cemetery not far from here? That's the question and the subject of our little search today. So before we begin, let me tell you a little bit about Ula and Matis. Eula is the daughter of Jerry Kirk and Evelyn Ma Kirk Newsom Simpkins. She was born in a little community near here called Puritan Mines on February 2nd in 1902. Eula married Marv Endicott, who was a coal miner, and they had 4 children together. He died in 1932 of a bullet wound to the head at 36 years old. I don't know if it was homicide or accidental, but it has the code 173. So if any of you know what code 173 references, drop us a line in the comments below. So, Eula, she remarried Wallace Bryant and had Billie Jean Bryant in 1934, and then little Matis Lorelei in 1936. Eula had been very sick with tuberculosis, and unfortunately 2 days after her first birthday, little Matis died of a combination of meningitis and tuberculosis. But before they could even, let the side-by-side pass, before they could even get her buried, the additional stress of losing her baby like that sent Eula over the edge as well, and she also died a few days later on June 7th. On Matis's memorial page, we found another small piece of the puzzle to be added. It was a little note that said, "Both my mother, Ada Mae Priest Allen Farley, and my grandmother, Pearl Kirk Priest, told me that Matis Lorelei Bryant was buried with her mother." And you think about that, guys. That's mother and daughter together forever in the same grave. So today, my goal is to try and find Eula and Matis, and to see who else might be lost in this old cemetery. As usual, there is no guarantee that we will find them, but it will still be worth going regardless, because I will also be documenting this cemetery today, and Heather will be updating family records online as we go along. Some may say it's a strange gift to give someone, but to the families of these people, they know how important that gift really is. Eula's husband, Wallace, died 30-ish years later and is buried in the Upper Curry Cemetery not far from here. Now, when I came over just a few minutes ago, I kind of went over to Walnut Street just to see if I could get an idea of where I might be going. And I went up, I found an old house, and it was vacant. There's no one there, had a no trespassing sign. So I figured I would come back down and ask. You know how that works, right? Ask, right? Before you do stuff, ask. Well, it turns out that the man I asked was the mayor of Delbarton. Imagine that. He owned the house for years that this cemetery sits on. And guess what? He's going to take me up there and show it to me. I'll tell you one thing. I really like his taste in cars. I like your taste in cars.
That's a 13.
That's what mine is.
Is it?
Yeah, that's what mine is. That mine ain't the 5.0. That is really pretty. That is really pretty.
That's my older brother bought that, and me and him went out west, and it went through Montana and all through there.
Really?
Yeah. And come back, and in a couple of years he died, and his son called me and said, "Come get that car."
Huh. I guess. Got some good memories with it then.
Oh yes, sir.
That's cool. That is cool. So, guys, tell everybody who you are and who you are.
All right, Mont Crum, Mayor of Delbarton. Not much more to say.
Very well stated. Very well said. Very well said. Anyhow, I happened to come over here a little while ago, and like I said, I went up. I was kind of looking. Went up on the hill to look, and it was posted. We don't do that. And happened to come back down and ask, and what are the odds that I would run into? And what did you say about the property itself? That
It was our home place, and it burnt 30 years ago. And these people purchased the property and rebuilt their house on it.
Uh-huh.
And they been neighbors all our lives, so.
Right. And the graveyard that I suspect is actually on this piece of property that we're talking about right now, right up here behind the house. And speaking just a few minutes ago, we also found out that we had something else in common as well. I've mentioned on the channel a couple times about how my aunt and uncle lived here in Delbarton, just not far down here, right behind the old Farley grocery store, old store from many years ago. And a lot of good childhood memories there growing up, right? Just all kinds of really good memories. Guess where he grew up?
Same house.
He grew up in the same house.
Now, not with him.
No. Probably a couple decades apart, but I mean the exact same house. What are the odds of that? But anyhow, he's going to take us up and show us this old graveyard, and we're going to see if we can find any signs of these graves. So, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Off we go.
Right behind you. Beautiful day out, ain't it?
Yes, it is.
I like your dog too.
That's my grandson's. I've always had old hunting dogs. I never had nothing that was a...
Yeah. It's an Australian Shepherd, I believe, isn't it?
Yes, he is.
It's a pretty place you got back here.
Well, that boy helped me keep it mowed down pretty good, and then my nephew.
So I'm assuming you grew up here and lived here all of your life as well, right?
Well, I did till I got out of school. Then I went to New Mexico and worked on the pipeline with my brother-in-law and through the west, and came back home one sunny afternoon and met a little gal and got married. And went to Ford Motor Company in Lorain, Ohio. Stayed there 30 years, then came back.
Huh. Heard that. Well traveled. So you worked for Ford, huh?
Yes, sir.
And on the Mustang. Probably should have just drove up a hill, shouldn't we?
Well, been easier on you.
I like you, Mont. You're all right.
Chestnuts.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that. Whole bunch of them, ain't they?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
You ever slip one of them under somebody's seat cover in their car?
No. No, never thought of that.
I was a mean kid. I was pretty bratty.
I bet you was.
Yeah, I was. You can take your break. You want to take a break? Stop for a minute?
When we get there, that's about as far as I can go.
Okay. That's that little monument there I noticed.
Okay, I don't know. I have no idea what that is. Maybe one of his dogs or something. I don't know.
These some game trails. I bet y'all got your share of deer, don't you?
Oh, yeah. There's an old coal bank in there. We used to dig coal out of for
Really?
winter heat.
Really?
Yeah, let me catch my breath. Do you
Take your
wanna-
time, take your
I'll
time.
tell you what I know about this place.
We've got all day. I have no timetable.
Just a few yards up that hill there.
Uh-huh.
There's a small cemetery. And on that flat, if you'll take it around,
Okay.
you'll come to a big Farley cemetery. It's overgrown. And your namesake's buried up there.
Which one?
Ula Crum.
Oh. So it's up this way.
Yeah, it's just there used to be a path
Right, right.
upside the hill, and I don't know where it's overgrown now.
Okay. So you go up here and then it turns back to the right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you come to the first little one and then follow the same path on around to the big one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Shady in there at least, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mon, I appreciate you coming out here. I really do. I appreciate you, you know.
That might be the path right there that goes up to that cemetery.
Okay.
There.
Thank
Been a
you.
pleasure.
Very much. You too. You too, very much. Tell your son I said thank you for watching our channel too.
He's got my daughter. She lives in Lorraine, Ohio. He's got her hooked on it.
Really?
Yeah, you got to follow him. They all may be ring-me-town kids, but they follow you.
Well, tell him I said hi. Tell him I said thank you. Tell him I said hello. Very much appreciate that. I really do. I really do. Well, I guess this is the point where Leo climbs the mountain.
Okay. Have fun, brother.
Thank you very much, Mont. I appreciate you. You have a really good day, brother.
You have a blessed day too, brother.
Very much a pleasure to meet you. How about that, guys? How cool was that? Here we go. Ooh, thorns right off the bat. My favorite. Ouch. Little ouch. I will say one thing, guys. I mentioned this once before. You know how when you're always told, you know, you just always assume you can't go through thorns, right? Through thorn bushes. You know the story like Brer Rabbit, right? Don't throw me in anything but the thorn bushes. You can navigate thorn bushes if you try. Without getting poked too bad. You know, it takes a little effort. It does take a little effort. But you can get through thorn bushes if you make the effort. Okay. Now, just like we said, this is the part where Leo climbs the mountain. So I guess I'm gonna shut the camera off so I got both hands to work with. This is a lot steeper than it looks on camera. I can tell you that. You imagine bringing a coffin up here? Just picture that, you know, summer heat or winter, you know, slick. Imagine that, bringing a coffin up this mountainside. Wow. Wow. Mont was cool though, wasn't he? Alright, we'll let the camera run a minute till I get too huffing puffing. Don't look like anybody's been up here in a while, does it? I can still see a definite trail, overgrown, but it's definitely there. Look how steep that is. That is straight down. Wow. What's this? We got something. Huh. It's a Mahan. No, Mahan. Billy J. Mahan. Born in 28. God. 1984. Oh, there's a graveyard here. I'm on the right track, ain't I? Watch the ground here. I mean, pay attention to what I'm doing. Alright. Alright. Kind of scan the ground for... I see headstones. I see two right there. See a few here though. Mary Myers, 1900. It's a homemade one, well-built homemade one. They set it in concrete and everything. John Wesley Collins. 1902, 1951 looks like. This is MORRES-L Collins. That one's a homemade one as well. I don't see... I see several rocks. This is Chloe Hardin Wynn, 1911, 1998. There's a sunken spot right there. There's the downed tree. The way I came up is how you come up. Oh, there's a bunch here. There's a bunch of people here. Look at this. One there, there. Here's a stone right in front of me, there. Here's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. It's sunken up by the, there's a fence post back there. Sunken one right there. We're on the right track. Thought for a minute I might have missed it. I'm questioning my skills and junk. Okay, I see one with a name on it. I see a few proper headstones. Might be difficult to find though in all this vegetation, but we will try. Alfard, A-L-F-A-R-D. W-H-E Weller. Alfred Weller. That name should be enough. The name and birth date should be enough. Okay. There's just a plain rock. There's a plain rock. Look at the size of that tree. That is massive. This is Blanche Fuller, 1898 to 1930. Is the original one from here. Oh, there's just concrete. Oh, that's fell off. Let's see. This has fallen off of that pedestal. A.J. Harris, November 7th, 1892, December 8th, 1925. Starting to sweat just a little bit. I'm ready for winter. Do this stuff in the cold weather. And that one is just a big piece of slate. There's nothing on either side. Several here. There's one rock. There's one's a rock. That one's just a dip. There's nothing there. Hard to imagine, isn't it? Out in the middle of the woods on the side of a mountain. Completely surrounded by people. That's a rock. Another piece of slate. Colony of ants. Laura White. 1920. August 12th, 1920 to February 10th, 1925. It's a 5-year-old. I don't usually do this. I'm going to turn the camera off and reset this one. Be right back. That's better. I don't usually do that, but this is an abandoned cemetery. More slate. Unknown. This is Perry, Charlie Perry, 1908, no death date. Matilda F. Perry, 1913, 1978. Larry W. Perry, 1936, 1978. William Henry Farley, 1868, 1943. Ima Stevens Farley, 1891, 1938. That's the one. The one our illustrious mayor was talking about. World War II vet. Don't need that date. Don't need that. Leonard C. Farley, U.S. Navy, World War II, 1920 to 1980. Vady Farley, V-A-D-Y, 1905 October 2nd, 1899. We have a little fenced section right next to this wooded. Alright. This is Carl Quentin Farley, 1903 to 1969, excuse me. Daughter of Tom, Jack, and Carolyn Farley, retired school teacher, lover of books, and Democrat. Okay, two more. Look at that yucca, it's huge. Carolyn Varney Farley, 1875-1953. And Tom Jack Farley, 1863 to 1948. Wait a minute, there's one more over in the corner, isn't there? I cannot make that out. I can see a few letters. 1973. I don't know how well you can see it on camera. It's worn out. R-O-Y, Troy Farley, 1900, 1973. Okay. Chloe Farley right there on the outside of the fence. 1901. Can't see the death date. It's buried. Well, we have moved on up to the next place where I think we suspect we may find them. And I have me a new assistant. What you doing? You going to help me look? I came up, and this graveyard where I thought it was, I couldn't see it. But I came up and pulled off and went up and talked to the neighbors. You know how you do it. Just go up and ask. And they were telling me, yes, there's one here. There's actually three. So, I forgot the shovel. I sure did. He gave me a shovel for the snakes, and I walked right off and left it. Walked right off and left it. I was just saying that on video. He pointed out, gave me a shovel, and I walked right off and left it.
You'll fix you some water or anything?
Oh, I got some. Thank you, Donald. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you. Just in case of snakes. Apparently it's a snaky little place. But I guess that's alright. We're fairly used to running into the stuff you run into out here. It's normal, I guess. Now, this side looks mostly empty. Lay that down. I'll need that for the old one out there. Now this is the Carl A. Priest and Pearl Kirk Priest family cemetery. Very pretty little place, isn't it? Little valley. Pearl Priest, 1908 to 1985. Carl A. increase, 1900 to 1983. And the last one here is Evelyn. I'm going to get a closer. Can't really see it from there. Evelyn N. Kirk, 1883 to 1959. Okay, now, next. Almost back out to the road. One more thorn bush. One last thorn bush. And we're free. Okay, well, guys, as you saw, we did our best. You know, we told the story and went and looked for the lost graves. We've done all we can do here, but on the bright side, there is more that we can do, and there is more that we will do. Heather hasn't already done it. We will be updating, well, theirs obviously, but everything that I did today, everything that I videoed today, we will be updating so that future generations, when they come out here to look for these old family graves, we'll leave them a nice wide paper trail. Anyway, thank you all for coming along. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed our little trek today out into the mountains. And I just wish we could have found the grave we were looking for. But at least we told her story, and it's not forgotten anymore. And now none of these folks up here will be forgotten.